Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I am your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very, very senior professional and coach from Colorado, USA, Arlene Cohen Miller. Arlene, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Arlene is the Chief Executive Officer of Jewel Consultancy. She is a coach, a mentor, and a mediator, and she specializes in soul readings. So, Arlene, before we get into coaching, what is behind the name Jewel Consultancy?
I don't know. It just came to me. It's like I love jewels and I love like diamonds. And I think like people are like diamonds and they have multiple facets. Okay. And so we're all like beautiful diamonds. I don't know. It just came to me. There's no family name there. Just an inspiration. And
wonderful. No, but that's a fantastic explanation. I mean, people are like diamonds and there are so many different facets. Fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, so tell me, what made you select coaching as a career?
Well, as you might know, I didn't select coaching initially. Initially, when I was about 15, I decided to be an attorney. Mm-hmm. And I was an attorney for many, many years. I became an attorney in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine became a coach, mm-hmm. and she was dissatisfied with the coaching industry and created her own school and encouraged mm-hmm. me to come and train with coaching with her. And after a couple of years, I decided to do so. Best thing I ever did. And I just felt like it would really help to augment and expand my ability to practice law, because I did a lot of negotiating, mm-hmm. In my law practice. Yep. And I just felt that, gosh, if I could be a better negotiator, mm-hmm. and coaching really did help that, then, God, it would be well worth my time. And it has been.
Mm. And the fact that you were a lawyer and the fact that you're saying that you were able to negotiate better, how does that help your coachees?
Well, to be a lawyer and to be able to help better, how does it help the people that I coach? Well, how do I explain this? Well, I guess I bring all the skills like you do. You told me you've had multiple jobs and multiple careers, and now you're bringing it to the brand called you. Well, I think that all of our experiences that we have, all of our education, they all sort of build with each other, and we bring all those things to the people that we help and then we serve. Okay. So the law practice helps the people because I know so much about negotiating and about working with people and communicating, because that's what I did as an attorney. Mm-hmm. And all those things help the people that I coach, because with coaching, basically what you're doing is you just know that people have the answers within themselves. And so you're asking them powerful questions and you're helping them to move forward with their lives. So they just sort of all kind of weave together, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. And what are some of the tools you share with your coachees or clients to help them boost their confidence and self-esteem?
Well, there are many things. In addition, recently, and I really had a really awesome opportunity recently. I can talk here. I became a facilitator for a startup company called Ingomu, INGOMU, in mm-hmm. Colorado, and I am facilitating weekly, 2 times a month, sessions about boosting your confidence and self-esteem. And I've brought that even more to my clients. And what I have found is that with my individual clients and working in this coaching community, that a lot of people, they want to boost their confidence and self-esteem. They've taken some weekend workshops. They've read some self-help books, and it's not getting them anywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's because it really feels to me that you have to go beneath just the surface of tools and techniques. You have to work with people with like breath work, because if you work with breath work, what that does is it trains yourself to physiologically let go of stress. Mm-hmm. Because when you're stressed out, you breathe shallow, mm-hmm. and that tells your body that a bear is chasing you and you need to go into fight or flight response. So the first thing that I want to do with my clients and with people that I facilitate is work from the inside out to train them how to calm down their nervous system so that we can start working with the tools. And the second way that I do that is with simple relaxation techniques just to calm your whole physical body. Okay. And so once you're in that state, you're more grounded and centered. You're not all scattered all over the place. And then you can't, how can you have confidence and self-esteem if you're scattered and you're anxious? And then we can work with the tools. Okay. And for example, we might work with starting with just acknowledging your successes and your accomplishments, or acknowledging how you feel about things because you haven't even acknowledged how you feel. Or you're stressed out. And then we work with other things like creative visualization to really visualize and see what we're choosing to bring into the world, what we're choosing to create. Right. And oh God, there's just so many different tools. And with another one that I use, there's just so many. So I guess one of the other ones besides acknowledging is we just work with tools to bring more self-acceptance in. Because if we really accept ourselves as we are, then it's easier to have that confidence and self-esteem. Okay. So those are some of the simple, there's so many tools for that, but I just wanted to give you that it's always important to start from the inside, get yourself calm, and then you can work with the outside thing of, I want to have more confidence and self-esteem.
Fantastic. So I also understand that you're a mentor. And there is this long-standing debate in the coaching community that some people say coaching and mentoring are completely different. And some people say there's a very fine line that separates coaching and mentoring. I'd love to get your perspective on what is the difference.
Well, I would say that if you had a family, they're brothers and sisters. So with mentoring, what I'm doing is I am bringing my expertise, the wisdom that I built up over years to people who are interested in what I have to share. So I have a level of expertise, and my expertise is in the level of like personal development. I sort of call it personal spiritual alchemy. And so I am helping people who want to stand on my shoulders and work and learn from my journey so that they can boost their confidence and self-esteem, so they can step forward with let go of all that stress and anxiety and have more courage and joy and really step forward into the life that they want. But what I'm doing is I'm sharing the wisdom of my years of experience with them. So another example might be that you haven't thought of is, let's say that I love to take apart and rebuild motorcycles. I don't know anything about that. Okay. But if I wanted to learn that, I would go to a mentor. I bring my motorcycle and the mentor could help me learn that. Or if I wanted to learn about, I don't know, insurance. I don't know anything about insurance. I buy insurance. I would go to someone who was expert in that, and I would have them mentor me to train me. Okay. And with coaching, the mindset is that the client is the expert. So I could coach someone who is an aerodynamics engineer. I know nothing about it because there's a commonality in the human experience. We're asking the person powerful questions. We're reflecting back what they say. We're sharing our intuition and knowing with them, but we're always handing it back to the client so that they're the ones that lead the conversation. And I can do that as a coach because there's a commonality in human experience. We all have interpersonal relationships that could use our help. We all have professional goals and aspirations that could use our help. There's that commonality that we all have as human beings that I can get you and you could get me, even though I don't know anything about the businesses that you used to be in before you did the brand called You. And so I hope that I explained that well enough, but that's sort of the difference between
I think it's great,
coaching and mentoring.
Yes, it's a great explanation.
Well, thank you.
You also say that you love mentoring, but what kind of mentoring clients do you work with, and what are some of their aspirations and goals?
Well, I think with mentoring, I just love it. I do. Thank you for sharing that. I find that I attract people from all walks of life, but the people that come to me for mentoring, they're just like they've been sort of going around in circles on a hamster wheel. And there's certain things in their life that they're stuck with when it comes to their personal development and moving forward with their life. And they just don't know how to do it. And so they come to me, and because I have that expertise. And I guess the commonality that I have with all of them is that they have aspirations and goals, or maybe certain relationships that are going around that they're not satisfied with, or they really want to create something, they don't know how to do it. And or they want to step forward in their life in some way. I mean, I had a woman recently who wanted to step forward and go into art therapy. But she was having all these like blockages where she would have all this fear and anxiety before she could step into it. And since that's my area of expertise, that kind of person would come to me. And I really enjoy working with them. It's really gratifying and satisfying to work with someone where you have shared passions. You're both interested in that personal development and growth, and you can sort of walk alongside them. And it's kind of this really lovely give and take experience.
Fascinating. You've also recently decided to undergo training as a mediation facilitator.
Meditation facilitator.
Meditation. Okay, my apologies. Meditation.
That's all right. I did mediation as an attorney, but this is meditation now.
That was at the back of my mind. I said,
yeah, that's all right.
My apologies.
No worries. No worries.
As a meditation facilitator, tell me the kind of work you're doing and what motivated you to take this decision.
Well, for years, I do have a friend of mine in Perth, Australia. I have many friends there, and she owns a yoga meditation studio called Refresh Yoga. And basically, ethics is one of my passions as an attorney, and I was going in and helping and facilitating the part of her course in her meditation facilitator course about ethics. Because, of course, if you're helping people to meditate, you need to have very high ethics because they're open and they're allowing and they're surrendering and they're in a vulnerable place. You have to have very high ethics. And I just saw the benefit for so many of my friends who had gone through her course and how they changed and how they were using it with their clients. And I thought, you know what? This is a weak area of mine. I really don't know how to fully help my clients to relax and meditate the way a trained meditation facilitator would. And I just decided a few years ago to take the jump, and I just love it. And my clients do as well.
Amazing. And therefore, my logical next question to you is, what is the relationship you see between meditation, coaching, and mentoring?
Well, as mentioned a few minutes ago, I see them as brothers and sisters. I see them as like it's a beautiful diamond, and they're all different facets of each other, because we're in all of these situations and all of these modalities, we're helping people to move forward in their life. We're helping people to let go of stress and anxiety. We're helping people to reach their goals. It's just different ways of doing it for whatever works for that individual person in the moment. So they're like one big happy family.
Amazing. Amazing. So now, Ari, let me move to another segment. And again, when I was reading about you, you are an expert in soul readings. I've never heard the term soul readings before, but I understand that that's a part of what you offer to clients. So for my viewers and listeners, tell me, what is soul readings and how does it benefit your clients?
Well, soul readings, I feel soul readings are spiritual mentoring.
Okay.
So what I do is I help people with soul readings to see the opportunities that are available to them, the obstacles and challenges that they need to move around, like what the highest, clearest, brightest future is for them if they sort of follow the promptings, and answering any questions of where to from here. I do use tarot oracle cards, which for some people feel a little bit woo-woo, but for me, I use them to mentor people. And I just find that basically I just let them shuffle the deck. They pick some cards, so it's their intuition that picks them. I pick some cards, and so there's like a buy-in there. And it's just a way to help people with a visual, because adults are very visual. So there's a visual picture of different things. For example, there's a card called obstacles. And when they pick this card, basically it's like, it looks like this deep, dark pit and there's lights around it. And oftentimes when they pick this, they have obstacles to move through. And the message often is that if you follow your heart, you can move around the obstacles. And if you think too much in your head, you're going to go around in circles. You're going to go into fear and doubt and disbelief. So let's just make more decisions from your heart. So the cards really help to mentor people in a way that they have that visual there, and there's more buy-in because they are helping to pick the cards.
And did you go through some formal training for understanding and interpret and on how to interpret all these cards?
Yes, I had a friend of mine who was doing, I have a lot of friends who do very, very interesting things. And she just got this inspiration that she was supposed to train me. And I was visiting in Perth for an extended period of time before COVID. And I went, sure, I'd love to learn that. And so she trained me, and you do have to use your intuition, and you do have to be in your heart and be open to other people and heart connect with them. But there is a little bit of a science to it. Yes, so I was trained.
Wonderful. And is this something like the tarot card reading, or is it something completely different?
It is a tarot oracle card reading, but the way that I do it, it's really not the way most people do tarot. I sort of do it with my own slant because I believe that it's important to empower people and to find a way to help them move forward in a way that's more of a mentoring bent. Fascinating.
So, Arlene, my next question is now going to be, your extended family of the Jewels. You already told me that meditation, coaching, and mentoring is part of a family. So now comes the fourth member of your family, which is soul readings. And my question to you is, how are soul readings connected with coaching, mentoring, and meditation?
I bet you can already guess that they're a part of my diamond and jewel. They're another facet of it, because really, when you think about it, the way it's been explained and the way I feel about it, there's just so many different ways to assist people to move forward in their lives, to reach their goals and their aspirations, and to let go of what doesn't serve them. And everyone has different things at different times that are going to help them. Maybe one moment it's coaching, and then it just doesn't quite work anymore, and they need mentoring, or maybe they need that visual with soul readings, or maybe they need to relax more with meditation. So I really feel it's like a diamond with the facets, all of them together, and it's like a big happy family. And we just need to decide who we're going to talk to and work with in the family on any given day.
Oh, wonderful. And say I come to you as a client, how do you determine, or what makes you determine which of the four members of your happy family should be used with me?
Usually I don't determine for other people. Okay. Most people come to me and say, I love a soul reading, or they'll say, I really like to work with you with coaching. And most people come and they have an idea. And once they've worked with me with one modality, maybe if we get a little stuck, I might suggest another modality, but most people have an idea of what they are looking for when they come to me, which I find is really great. No one's ever come to me and said, I have no idea, which is really interesting.
No, I thought I would come to you and say that, hey, listen, I'm facing this problem at work. How can you help me? And you could either be a coach to me, you could be a mentor to me, you could help me because I'm stressed through meditation, or you could help me with finding my own direction through your soul reading. So
yeah, and I can have a consultation with a client and have a discussion about all the different modalities and what would work for them if they're not sure. Of course, we can do that. I just find that most people they just seem to say, this is what I want, and we just take off from there.
Absolutely fantastic. So I've got time for one more question, and this is for the many, many people who will listen to our conversation. Based on the incredible experience you've had across so many different areas, and the fact that you started off as a lawyer, what would you say are 3 lessons you would want our viewers and listeners to take away?
I guess the first lesson is that mistakes are opportunities to learn and grow. Let's not beat ourselves up for our mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. It's a part of life. Yeah. And when we make mistakes and we make it an opportunity to learn and grow, we can really learn from them and use it as a stepping stone of where to from here. And I guess a parallel to that is that any disaster can be turned into a blessing. I love this. Right. I think it's a quote from Winston Churchill. Yeah. Any disaster can be turned into a blessing. Any blessing can be turned into a disaster, and there's always a better way.
Okay.
So we can always turn the lemons in our life into lemonades, even if something really horrible has happened to us. You know, you hear about parents who have lost a child, and all of a sudden they have an organization, you know, to help people, you know, where they've lost a child to cancer. There's some sort of support organization, and they turn that disaster into a blessing. And that's a very serious thing. But, you know, we can do that at any time in our lives. And even if we've made a really positive step forward, we're always learning and growing. And so that's why there's always a better way. It's not where there's not always a right or wrong. There's always a way to step forward and move into something new. And I guess my last piece of advice is that the world is our oyster. You know, it's never too old to start something new. It's never too old to learn something new. If you have something you've always wanted to do or explore or try something, maybe you've always wanted to play the piano or learn how to play the drums or learn how to do pottery, whatever it is, give it a go. You know, just don't hang around because, oh, I'm too old or I can't do that. You know, just give it a go.
Fantastic. Arlene, on that note, and your 3 amazing pieces of advice, you know, mistakes are opportunities, disaster can be turned into a blessing, and you're never too old to start anything that is on your bucket list, if I can add the 2 words to what you've said. Thank you so much for speaking to me. Thank you for talking to me about Jewel Consultancy, and thank you for, you know, really saying that, you know, all your coaches or every human being has got so many different facets to our lives as you know, multiple faces of a diamond. Thank you for talking to me about coaching and mentoring, about soul readings, and about your amazing journey. Thank you again, and good luck.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.